Like, but what even is left to say about these outfits, really?
I don't know, I thought this one was a little more understated compared to the Moogle dress.
It's definitely not an entire dress of Moogles. That.
No, this is like Saz level subtle. This is, I want to have a thing in my hair as well.
I can respect that. Like, it's like Saz has like this tiny yellow chocobo chick living in his afro, and it's just this tiny thing, and it's such a huge deal, but the thing itself is like, yeah, there's a sort of understatement to it.
Yeah, but I think that it's the large personality that you know, she can't get that from a Moogle, so she just has to go with a larger Moogle.
Yeah. I think Lightning also doesn't really have much of a personality to contrast with the ridiculous thing in her hair like Saz does.
So, we're 3 games in since the Lightning I know and love. Did she develop a personality, or did that never really happen?
Do you consider I am so fucking sick of this shit to be a personality?
It's more than she... Oh, like, she went through this weird period in 13 where she was, like, ranting and raving, and then she went back to being boring. So, it's more than that. Oh, jeez, what was that for a second there? You were very pink.
Oh yes,
I see. You see, you found my Candy Raver outfit.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
So yeah, you see how the thing that we're fighting is like bright neon pink and has no lighting on it?
Yes, I did notice that.
It's like some enemies drop weapons. So when you kill the neon pink version of an enemy that can drop a weapon, it will drop a neon pink weapon.
Okay.
And because this is very much a game about aesthetics, most players, including Artix here, will quite sensibly choose to coordinate an outfit around such a weapon.
Ah, no, that makes a lot of sense, because, you know, you don't want your, like, purse not matching your shoes, and it's very much the same with neon pink weapons.
I mean, Lightning would know all about this, given her experience with Louis Vuitton.
It's true. It's true.
Also, this is Porklif since he didn't introduce himself.
Yeah, hello.
I don't think we need to introduce Porklift in the context of Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much defined the genre. But no, you know, we were starting in media res, and I was hoping that, like, midway through we'd flash back, and then I'd do my introduction maybe 13 or so minutes in.
Yeah, that'd be pretty appropriate.
Yeah, I'm like a modern Hollywood movie.
Yeah, let's just let that one hang.
Yeah, Woodyard does that too, by the way.
But yeah, for as much context as you get, we are presently wandering the world, exterminating everything, because that's the thing that you can do in this game.
Okay, we're Genocide running Final Fantasy.
Like, I don't... It doesn't seem to fit much into any particular idea that the game has going on, but yeah, they decided that there will be a limited number of every creature available and that you will be able to drive them extinct.
That's incredible, and it has like an open world sort of thing going, right?
It sort of.
And so does it mean that you're just wandering through like empty fields?
There's one area that's empty fields, and there's one area that's empty desert, but the other two places are cities. So, but it's not quite like, you know, your traditional open world affair where, like, you know, you can wander seamlessly from one end of places to the other. Although, you know, we did just unlock the highways, so maybe you can literally walk the entire way from, I think, the dunes through both cities and out to the wildlands or some bullshit like that.
Okay. I mean, it's a far cry from the straight line with save points along it.
It's a far cry from Far Cry, you might say.
Yes, it's also a far cry from Far Cry.
Yes. I'm glad we cleared that up.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably fair to say that the quote-unquote Japanese open world game, it's at least a lot more focused than something like Far Cry is.
Yeah, this is. I know we've been getting into a serious era of Japanese riff on open world, which I guess is fitting because Final Fantasy started as basically a Japanese riff on D&D,
It's true.
and it just kind of went from there.
So, have you guys cracked into 15 yet? Is that a thing we can talk about?
A little bit.
I have cracked enormously into 15.
Yeah, I beat it within the first week it came out.
Yeah. The important question here is, have you done the secret post-game optional platforming dungeon?
Ooh, platforming one. No, I've not done that. I did the really horrible sewer level.
Oh yeah, that's a thing. But let me just say here in the presence of our LP viewers that I hereby apologise for everything mean that I said about Academia 500 AF. I take it all back. If I could just play nothing but Academia 500 AF over and over again, and never have to deal with Piteous Ruins, that'd be swell. I'd like that.
Excellent. I'll bear that in mind when I get there, because I'm still doing bits of post game.
If I ever actually bother to do the post-game, I'll keep that in mind. I mean, I'm only like 4 chapters in, because I kind of put it down while I was playing Color Splash, so...
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, it's a platforming dungeon with like precision jumps and loops and the occasional puzzle-like thing. And, you know, it's a real good platforming level. It's like cleverly laid out. It's had a bunch of actual design put into it, and it's got like gravity bits and rotating bits, and you know, it's all very clever. It'd be great in a Mario game.
I was gonna say, yeah, it sounds like that would be a great Mario game and a terrible Final Fantasy game.
Because one of the things that I was doing, because I'm a huge goddamn nerd, while I was playing Final Fantasy 15, I was also rewatching trailers from when it was like Final Fantasy versus 13.
Ah, for that Nomura aesthetic.
Yeah, one of the things that was really key to the design was that you would be able to warp strike infinitely and onto any surface, and they cut that out of the game really late.
It's like only in battles. And during the random out-of-place obligatory stealth sections.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, like, there's loads of platforming stuff that was apparently taken out really late because suddenly you didn't have full control over where you could be on a map.
Yeah, I could believe that. So now let's have an entire dungeon based around weird precision jumping to like go on a weird circuitous route around an entire ruin to get to a button on the ceiling.
Honestly, from the way you guys are talking, it sounds like that dungeon might have been designed before they took away your ability to warp strike anywhere.
I'm pretty sure almost every aspect of the game was designed before the like user interface they eventually gave you. Like, there is so much that showed up in trailers 6 years ago that is still there but doesn't have some of the things that were in the trailer that makes it make more sense. The big one being the use of the warp strike. Like, obviously trailers are trailers and they always go more elaborate than you're ever going to go, but all of these things of Noctis, like warping at an enemy, like warping onto the ceiling, swinging and kicking an enemy and stuff like that, just doesn't exist anymore. And gunfights, although there is a sniper rifle in the game.
Yes, there is.
With its own mechanics built entirely just for the sniper rifle.
To be fair, there are an impressive amount of moves that you can do, like based on context things and proximity to things and weird button inputs that aren't documented anywhere in the whole game. Like there's delay combos. Like there's combos that you can do by you hold the button and then you let go of the button and then you hold the button again. Like what is this? Platinum?
And yet the problem with it is the camera cannot track you well enough that you notice that any of that is happening.
Yeah.
I, by the way, really like Final Fantasy 15. It is so much better than 13 that it's ridiculous, but let's not pretend there aren't endless problems.
The game has like giant honking great problems. And somehow it just takes the crap that it has and it just sells it to you. It makes it work. It's got an aesthetic that it sticks to. It manages to stick the landing at the end. Like, holy shit, I can't believe that there would ever be a Square Enix landmark JRPG that would end by simply stating its core theme in the context of the events. And that would work. They pulled it off, somehow. And now I am full of giant shiny hopes about Final Fantasy XVI. May it not spend 10 years in development hell this time, please.
So, let's, we're gonna take a break from murdering everything, and we're just gonna take a nice, relaxing walk down the highways.
We're going to walk the entire way from whichever the place it was that we were in to whichever place it's that the other way. What highway is this?
I don't know. We're going from the Wildlands to Luxarian, apparently.
Yeah. So I think we commented on this before, but this is the optimal method for farming Chaos Seeds.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, like, that's like the fourth one that I've gotten in this small little bit here.
So yeah.
Is there a goal in this video? Are we going to somewhere in particular, or are we just wandering and murdering?
The goal in this video is to murder every single last extinctable life form in this video game.
Okay.
Yeah, so now this is just kind of showing off what the highways are, how they work, and shit like that. Of course, it's important to note right now that we are in, between 4 and 6, there are fixed encounters, so we can't actually fight the monsters that we want to extinct. So you'll see on the way back, we slip past 6 o'clock, and, at which point normal encounters resume, and the highway experience becomes much different, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
Do those sheep things have a name? Because they were in 13 and they are the best thing.
Those are fuzzy sheep.
Yeah, fuzzy sheep. They hatch from eggs.
I mean, what doesn't hatch from eggs? Pokemon hatch from eggs, all of them.
Well, ordinary sheep for one. So yeah, highways after dark. It's the big guys.
Yeah, it's also, yeah, like I say, I'm not cutting anything out aside from the fights themselves. That is literally how fast they spawn.
This is incredible. This must be such a pain in the ass to play.
Well, normally there's no really good gameplay reason for you to go onto the highways for transport, because you can either take the train or you can teleport for some EP. The only reason you take the highway is to farm Chaos Seeds or to farm enemies.
And the highways open really late on in the game, right?
Yeah, you can't open them until, I believe, day 9.
Like, there's a reason these highways are abandoned and not, like, actually used for transport. Basically, the highways are for, like, how these days in like, all the Bravely Default games, you can turn the encounter rate up or down whenever you want. In this game, instead of doing that, you can just go to the highway.
So this is something that I'm sure that you guys have discussed in depth, but, like, if you were to make a verdict on the combat in this game.
High.
Okay.
I was gonna say, how exactly are we gonna, in what metric? How are we,
So let's do a comparative one, first of all. Like, let's compare this to 13.
It's more refined, I think. You can definitely see that they had a lot of the same priorities. So there are still a couple of elements of pro-menu navigation in this game. Like, there's not like a guard button that you have to press with the correct timing, but you do have to, like, navigate to the one costume that you have that has guard in it, and then press guard.
So for what it's worth, I personally enjoyed the more menu-driven combat of 13 more than this game's, but the nature of this game's allows them to do a lot more things with it.
Okay, no, that's interesting, because obviously, I'm probably not Final Fantasy XIII's gameplay's biggest fan. I got a lot of love for that game, but it is not the combat that does it. This feels, just by watching it, just a little bit more engaging.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a lot closer to an action game with like context-sensitive stuff and variety of stuff. And like honestly, this comes pretty close to like the character action game genre during the longer fights. So, you know, there's time parrying, you know, there's parrying period rather than just like perfect guards. And you like different enemies will have different things happen to them when you stagger them, and like some enemies have weak points that you can hit. And yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool. I'm always interested in how these things actually feel to play, because, yeah, 13 had its problems, and this seems to have a lot of combat, so it better be good.
I mean, yeah, I will say that this game in general does feel very janky. Like, it's clear that they are taking an engine that was not meant to do anything like this and forcing it to.
There is a serious element of lemonade making at play here. But, you know, they did what they had to do. It's probably a complete mess under the hood.
Oh my god, yeah, I don't even want to imagine what the code base for this thing must look like, because... Jesus.
Yeah. The important thing is that it functions at the end when you play it. You can probably have some sort of automated test that you say, yep, well, it's a mess, but it doesn't break. The things that we had to do to get it to not break are atrocious and probably against the law in several countries, but, you know.
Because is this built in, I forget the name of the engine, the one that they...
Crystal Tools.
Yeah, this is still a modified Crystal Tools game.
Look, I'm serious. I mean it.
Note Lightning's commentary on the Moogle costume just then. She says different things when you switch into different costumes, and some of them have unique dialogue.
Lightning having any dialogue is still a surprise to me, so...
Yeah, this game veers wildly between Lightning is an emotionless robot, and Lightning is deliberately playing everything for laughs.
Okay, interesting separation, because, again, like, you guys have done plot things, probably, but isn't, like, Snow, like, I don't know, not fun in this?
He's definitely not his Final Fantasy XIII self, but he is alarmingly the subject of good character development in this game.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah, Snow, they definitely did a pretty good job with Snow in this game. It's clear that the same character from 13 is still in there, but the time has, because this takes place...
Yeah, he's seen some shit.
Yeah, this game takes place 1,000 years later with God knows how much dumb bullshit plot between them, so...
Yeah. So he is sick of being Snow.
So yeah, they, and of course he has a history with Lightning that extends beyond the beginning of 13. And all that stuff, like, kind of, sort of, actually is brought to a payoff.
Okay. No, that's good.
Like, I guarantee that they weren't thinking of any of this when they wrote Snow originally.
No.
But, somebody took a look at it and said, hey, there's an unresolved end to this that we could resolve. We could actually try having a go at this. And they did it. I can't believe they made scenes with Snow that I like, that don't make me want to punch him and make jokes involving the word hero over and over again.
They give him cutscenes in which he doesn't just stand in the background.
Yep.
No, Snow actually does, like, some really important shit in this game.
He's actually a presence in the world. And, admittedly by by presence, I just mean that he's holding a non-stop party at the end of the world. But, you know, what else would you do?
It's a special something for my little worker bee.
Apparently, kill every creature, great and small. So is the idea to just, like, end up with just, like, 2 of each, and Lightning takes her little arc
What the hell?
into the future? Is that the idea?
Long enough.
Is she going to repopulate the world?
The extermination of the creatures isn't strictly related to the quest to save the world.
Everyone know what
She just, like, really hates animals.
through me.
Yeah, we're saving people by, like, doing everyone's homework for them. So, like, we save their souls to carry forward to the new world. The monsters are just kind of here. They're only here to, like, so that we can get drops off of them, really.
Yeah, that's another weird thing about this game, is that the combat, like, there's not really a point to the combat. Like, it's there seemingly only so that you can get the drops that you need for quests.
Right. Okay.
Like, nobody really wants you to... Well, there's only a very few quest givers that want you to specifically kill things. I mean, there's the one guy that wanted us to genocide the skeletons, but mostly they just want stuff, and the way to get the stuff is to kill things, so...
I see. So really, Lightning's doing this mostly for fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at this point, we're long past the point where we had any actual reason to do this, and we're just kind of murdering everything because.
Okay, yeah. And, you know, some people like to kill for fun, like, Lightning the dentist going out and killing Cecil the Flandragora. I get it.
I mean, the only fights that you really have a reason to go into are the boss fights. Like, you don't even level up from fighting. You level up by saving souls.
That's an interesting idea.
Anyway, here at the end times, we can, like, utterly mess up the Earth Eater Omega. So, you know, we've come a long way on that.
I see. This is one of those fights that's good to come back to.
Well, I mean, Earth Eaters are already probably the single worst enemy in the game to begin with, so...
Oh, by the way, mechanics note us using haste and bravery feeder. Well, we haven't used bravery feeder yet, but this game takes some of 13's mechanics and evolves them a bit. So, like, Lightning can do moves that steal buffs from enemies.
Okay, that's a cool idea.
Which is important because in this game, Lightning mostly can't buff herself at all, other than with items, which are consumable.
Yeah, like, for better or worse, like, the 6 roles from 13, like, Medic is gone entirely, Synergist is entirely in items, and, like, Sentinel has been reduced down to a single guard command, so...
Because that's all it was, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a pain being, like, needing a Sentinel constantly, because then the Sentinel, all they did was cure guard.
The point of Sentinel, really, there's 2 points in Sentinel. You can have a paradigm that has 1, so it draws aggro while everyone else heals you. The other point is that instead of a guard button,
However it happens.
you have a whole process of you hit the L1 to open the paradigm menu, you navigate to the place where you've memorized where your tortoise paradigm is, and then you switch to it and everyone activates their guards, and that's what you do instead of parrying in 13.
Or in my case, the paradigm shift happens exactly after the heavily
Thanks for waiting.
The heavily telegraphed super attack hits you?
There is that. But yeah. So they've replaced that with there's 3 things that are always within 1 button press at every time, and you can put your guard on one of them, and that's what does it. But yeah, most of the functionality is either relegated to things or expanded upon, or just, you know, made a little bit more interesting than.
yeah.
13 was pared down in a lot of ways. It did a lot of good with what it had, but like, ultimately, the thing that was its biggest virtue is also kind of its biggest problem, in that it was just a little bit too basic at times. So, like, it's good that they expanded on this stuff. Like, with the staggering. This enemy is double staggered.
And now it is dead.
But yeah, so that was it. That was the last one.
That was the last one.
Well, it's not, actually, but yeah, so we have now murdered literally every creature that we can, at least for the moment.
There's a couple of holdouts. Like, there's the Mayonectons, which there are too many of them. And there's a couple of enemies that only show up in the endgame, so that's a bit of a fucker. So, like, you can't complete the Genocide Everything quest until you're in a New Game Plus.
I see. Which fuck that, or not fuck that? Is that a thing you guys intend to do?
Yeah, probably. I'm not gonna like 100% commit to it, but probably.
If you play your cards right, you can turn it in pretty much straight away on starting a New Game Plus. It's just that there are enemies in the literal end game, which is past the point of no return. So, you know, that's a little bit of bullshit, but yep.
I'll tell you what, 13 set up a thing that I don't like, and I've just realised we've got 10 seconds left of the video, so we'll talk about it later. That's fine, whatever.
In the meantime, let's reflect. We always said that this game would be the death of everything. People just didn't realise we meant it literally.